So look, it's a Wednesday, running back. There's a W in the chat. The Catdets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show you mean it. Stay in culture, let's make some more. Catdets corner, so you call her. All the baddies, the lady, pull up, he's the lady. Killing him, me also known as that. Trying with cash on the back end, how it's gonna add up, change it like a cat. Gotta say I'm glad I was in the Jupiverse, like an OG status and I'm still up on the path. Cooking over gas, started the expansion. Looking like a blast man, it's fun to be a cat. If you ain't one yet, you should stick around for that. When my name turned red, I felt the first passion. I think we'll get it moving on. Making do some music and the cats like it's a groove. Truly, cats looking like a little movie. Life getting changed, that's how he said he do it. We got wins here every week. I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace. Roof breaks, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday, running back. There's a W in the chat. The Catdets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP.
There ain't no PvP.
I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace. Roof breaks, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday, running back. There's a W in the chat. The Catdets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show you mean it. Stay in culture, let's make some more. Catdets corner, so you call her. All the baddies, the lady, pull up, he's the lady. Killing him, me also known as that. Trying with cash on the back end, how it's gonna add up, change it like a cat. Gotta say I'm glad I was in the Jupiverse, like an OG status and I'm still up on the path. Cooking over gas, started the expansion. Looking like a blast man, it's fun to be a cat. If you ain't one yet, you should stick around for that. When my name turned red, I felt the first passion. I think we'll get it moving on. Making do some music and the cats like it's a groove. Truly, cats looking like a little movie. Life getting changed, that's how he said he do it. We got wins here every week. I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace. Roof breaks, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday, running back. There's a W in the chat. The Catdets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC,
Show you mean it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Planetary Call. It is myself, Kash and Vibhu, and it is... What was the nickname we settled on last week, Vibhu? I can't even remember.
I can't remember either. Sorry.
Vibbo? Maybe it was Vibbo?
No,
Vibro?
definitely wasn't
Vibro?
that.
Definitely was not that. All right.
Definitely was not
we'll,
that.
We'll keep working on that with that. What's going on? Drop a little JM in the chat for me. Let me know how you feel. And do me a little favor. Drop a like. Drop a retweet. I feel like a fucking YouTuber. I work at a fairly large protocol, and here I am doing YouTuber things. But that's the job. So here I am begging you to push this forward. We're already past 1,000, which feels like a pretty good start. We're here, Planetary Call. Give me a fun one. This one is not necessarily a big announcements call, but it is a big brain call because we're going to be talking about a product that is dramatically underappreciated by the greater market. That's JupiterZ.
Facts.
We got Empress of the Jupiverse is here this time around. We got May, who's going to be talking about not just verification, but also a little teaser of something that's being launched tomorrow. First to see it on the Planetary Call, as always. And then Vibhu is going to talk about Metis V1, big brain stuff. I'm going to talk about the DAO Resolution I've been working on, which I'm a little bit nervous about, and I have not made my slides for yet. And I'm going to quickly just say that we also have an excellent cadet corner today. We got Maneek in the building. I know Maneek has got many fans out in the world. But before we try to do any of that, there's one thing that, according to the lawyers, I have to say. So let me just pull this up. That is, it's the unofficial cadet theme song. Let's go. I will give one jupe to whoever can post the lyrics to that song on Twitter so that I can actually sing along, because I don't know what the heck they're saying. You see what I did there, Vibhu? I'm getting better. Only took me 42 calls to learn not to swear live on the call. Do you know what they're saying in the video?
I'll look it up for you. I'm on it.
Please do. Thank you. Clean cash in effect. That's right. I got banned from X. Oh, is this not working on Twitter? It does seem to be. Okay. It was just a Molu specific problem. Murder on my mind next time, Satchel. Then we'll play a little bit more of that. Anyway, if you don't already know, my name is Cash. I am the cat herder. And just, I'm not trying to say, I just feel like AI always does me dirty. Like this is worse than the real me, I hope. Or maybe it's better. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say. But we have Vibhu over here. Your AI is pretty good. This is pretty solid.
It's kind of like, I would say like a more Turkish version of me. Would you agree? With hair.
What would you say this is then?
It gave you a little bit more like Northwestern Indian vibes, you know what I mean?
Listen, Brown Boys on top. Kash and Vibhu here, hosted the Planetary call. You might be used to all these Singaporeans, these Malays, but the truth is the Brown Boys are living large right now. And we're going to be your hosts here for the Planetary call. In case it's your first time here, welcome. It's great to have you. We've been doing this. What'd you say?
Unbelievable. They said very call center vibes. That is very racist and also accurate. Yeah.
Pretty funny and true. Yeah, you're not wrong, I guess, on that one. Anyway, Planetary call, very simple kind of purpose of this call. We do this every week. It's kind of like a boardroom type experience where we're trying to just show you what's been going on, make sure that you're up to speed, the first to know about the major things that are happening. Sometimes we drop a little bit of alpha, we drop some big brains, and celebrate the people and the products that make the Jupiverse so great. The Jupiverse itself, of course, Jupiter, the platform, aggregating everything. Jup, the token, aligning everything, and the JP, the community that is growing everything. Hello, this is PayPal customer service. And don't do the Indian head waggle. Now you're just giving them fodder. Just can I tell you the truth?
Can you do it? I won't say that. Let me see yours. Let's see your head bobble.
My head wobble is pretty good. I like sub TikTok, a little bit. Anyway, this is funny for like 4 people that understand Indian culture, and everyone else is like, where the Singaporeans. Anyway, agenda today is jam packed. So we're gonna put the over under at 1 hour and 12 minutes. You can let me know in the chat if you think it's over or under. I learned my lesson. Never again will I say an hour. Big shout out to Stash for the headshots. Yes, thank you very much, Stash. Stash is the best. Go follow him. We're going to cover this week in the Jupiverse. Then we're going to talk about Metis and the routing upgrades that have happened at Jupiter recently. Then special spotlight on JupiterZ, which I maintain is one of the least appreciated parts of the Jupiter ecosystem, or the Jupiter product suite, I should say. This is something that is really cool. You've all used it probably without even knowing that you've used it. And it is a banger. Then we're going to have the Empress herself, May, talking about token verification. Some big changes have happened there. Some things have rolled out to be live, I should say. A little sneak peek. And something, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. It's a drip collab. So it's a drip X Jupiter collab that we're going to sneak peek. Then I'm going to talk about the DAO corner. We'll do a little drip too hard and look at some great art. And then finally, Catdets corner with Maneek. If you are feeling excited, drop a little jam in the chat. Let's get the vibes going here a little bit. Cash is such a vibe. Thank you. I am Dara. I appreciate that. All right. Maybe way over 72 minutes. Okay, so no one trusts my time. That's all right. All right. Vibhu, anything else to say before we get going?
Let's do it.
Let's go. We got to hit this time mark. So this week in the Jupiverse, we need like a sound effect here. I need like a news anchor sound effect. Yeah, drop those jams, folks. I see we got my guy Will, Tajiku, shout out to Japan, RJ, Ace, Nate, and so many others, Joe, Space Pirate, and so on. All right, excellent. I was today years old when I learned that JM actually stands for Jupiter Mobile. Yeah. Anyway, so first major thing this past week, if you were on the Planetary call 2 weeks ago or last week, time is a flat circle. If you were on the last Planetary call, you would have been the first to see the Jupiter Pro is now live. The best, the most advanced real-time analytics, filters, quick buys, and all 10x cheaper than any of the competitors. Watch list. So now you're stealing my thunder a little bit here. We'll come back to the watch list in a second.
Sorry.
Yeah, please don't steal the thunder. But super
Jupiter just
super
dropped
nice.
Jupiter Pro.
I won't watch
advanced
this whole video,
analytics.
but people should go follow Stash Inu and go check out this delightful educational video that he made on it. But Jupiter Pro basically has a bunch of different features built for pros or for people that want to become more professional in the way that they trade. Have you given it a spin yet, Vibhu?
I've been all over it. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a pro, but I like some real time charts. I feel like you need that 1 second ticker on, just for the true chaos of trading on Solana. And I love the new net buy feature. Have you seen that?
I have. Yeah, I think that's a really useful metric. You want to explain what that is for people that don't know?
Yeah, basically it's like a rolling 24-hour or 5-minute or whatever setting you time period you pick, snapshot of how much of the volume on chain was net buys or net sells. So it's a really clever way to try to understand the momentum behind a token, right? Because sometimes you just look at like 24 hours on Sol, right? It has billions of dollars of volume, but you can't really see like how much of that was buy volume that exceeds what people sold in that time period. And yeah, this is only available on Jupiter. I'm pretty sure that no other token screen or token page has this set of analytics. Cool.
You pair that, you add in the organic score, again, another unique metric that only Jupiter has. Important to realize that, yeah, of course, the trading tools are great, but the tools to make you trade effectively are things like having more information, more transparency, more of an understanding of what is actually going on, whether it's in the trenches or with some of the blue chips, right? So I think this is a trader, any person, whether you're a novice or not, can become a pro trader when you use this. You just kind of level up your own game here. I saw that our guy Clouds lost 2 Sol already, which for him is at least a 20 Sol improvement over his normal P&L in a week. So
we actually want to make some content about how do you interpret charts? How do you become a pro? How do you like look at these metrics and make decisions? We want to do like a whole bunch of education around taking you from novice to someone that understands everything that you see on that token page.
That's right. That's right. And as you look at that token page, you're going to notice a bunch of other improvements as well over on jup.ag. There is a little facelift. Did people notice that it looked different? I don't know. We'll see. But you let me know in the chat if you noticed that it looked different here. But indeed, as Vibhu alluded to, there is now a watch list feature, so you can stay on top of your favorite tokens all in one place. I love this. I've already used this. Everyone else should use this as well. The actual boxes got much cleaner. I got to say, it just feels like simpler and a little bit easier to kind of navigate around here. New metrics like net buy, net volume, all these kinds of things are live as well. I don't know what this token is, by the way, or why it is at $1 billion, but it's a good example of some of the net buy and stuff like that. And most importantly, big shout out to Similsec, who noticed that the cat's eyes were fucked. Shit.
Everybody thought it was supposed to be a middle finger, and that is not where. That's an eye. That's not where hands go. For anyone,
unless Midjourney was telling us to fuck off, I don't know. Maybe that's possible. But shout out to Aaron, Joe, and the rest of the spa team. Things just look a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer. The token pages are sick. It's just, I'm astonished at how fast jup.ag is getting better. So big shout out to that entire team. Language, yes, my fault. I will immediately stop swearing. No more PG-13. All right. Outside of that, a few other quick updates that happened. Jupiter Portfolio continues to get better. And if I'm not mistaken, this also factors into Jupiter Mobile. Is that right, Vibhu?
Correct.
So any improvements you see on Jupiter Mobile are also going to appear in the portfolio feature inside, or sorry,
without an app update, because it all comes from the back end. So just magically starts working.
Smooth. There we like to, that's what we like to see. So now JUP DAO, Jesus Christ, JUP DAO's ASR is on there in case
JUP DAO. JUP DAO.
ASR is now on there. So in case you have ASR and small assets you maybe forgot about, you can see that very easily in Jupiter Portfolio, portfolio.jup.ag, or on the mobile app. Solana ID staking, shout out to Simon. I actually just saw him earlier today. The MetaDAO Launchpad, shout out to my friends over in Mountain Capital. They ended up doing some really nice work. RuneMine Stable and GooseFX. It's good to have GooseFX in here. Goose Wayne has been a buddy for a while. People saying amen in the chat. Folio on mobile really needs to be synced with the browser one, guys, says Frenchy Farts. What does that mean, Vibhu? Is it not already synced? Sunk?
Fully on mobile. I'm not sure. Can you send some more details on that?
Frenchie, just tag Vibhu on Twitter or go over to feedback.jup.ag and you can do
Better yet,
that.
tag Genesis from the portfolio.
Genesis, yeah, true. Just basically shout it out into the void and someone will hear it. I can promise you that. Other than that, a few other quick things. This year, we're really making a concerted effort to go IRL, right? I talk a lot about the fact that an audience is one to many, but a community is many to many, and it's defined by the strength of it, the social bonds within the community. And it is just a fact that there's nothing like an IRL event to build those bonds so strongly. Obviously, Cat's Temple was just one small example of this with our 1,500 people or whatever, but we want to see this happen more in a decentralized fashion. We want you to host your own meetup. So if you want to host a meetup, bring some people together, maybe do some DeFi education, talk about Jupiter, talk about some of the values, or just explore being on chain together. Jupiter Mobile, a great way to do that, by the way. You can apply now for a grant at jup.ag/host events. Big shout out to all of the regional communities that are working on stuff. And I don't know if I saw AlleyCat or not, but yes, AlleyCat in particular is hosting a banger one. I won't give away any of the details. We'll keep a little bit of suspense there, but May 21st. So if you're coming to Accelerate, definitely come to that. And if you need a free ticket to Accelerate and you're watching this right now, this is a special offer just for you, live Planetary Call viewers. It's not even on the slides. Shoot me a DM if you're coming to Accelerate. If you're a loyal watcher of the Planetary Call, free $400 ticket on your boy and on Jupiter and the cats in general. So definitely want to see more meetups.
There's a meetup happening in 3 days in KL in Malaysia, the Jupiverse Nusantara Raya meetup. You can check details on Jupiter Exchange main.
Nice. People should definitely check that out. We also have a new Jupiter calendar, by the way, folks, that people should check out. Maybe we'll get that added in a little bit. All right, last thing, second to last thing. DAO season is starting to come back now. Listen, maybe I'll save some of this for later when I talk about this in detail, but there are a few things that need to happen in the relatively near future. The first one is a DAO scope or a DAO resolution about the next 2 years that I've been writing with a lot of community input from many COCs, work group members, community members in general. That's probably going to be on Sunday. I know I said it'd be this week. Sunday is technically this week. It's close enough. Then the Jupiter mobile visual design vote will happen shortly thereafter. That one, I know people don't love having to do back-to-back votes. I get it. I appreciate it. But we got to get this out there. We promised it to the community for a while, and so many great artists submitted. We just really want to get this out there. And then there will be an LFG V2 vote in early May with Human Finance, which we'll come back and talk about that. So if you haven't already, stake your Jupe, claim your ASR, get ready to vote. It is going to be great. And lastly, if you are a content creator, Vibhu, you want to tell them about where they need to go?
Yeah, so we have a new Telegram channel called Jup_marketing, and it's all Signal, so it's not a chat. It's a way to get product updates as soon as they get announced. What we're thinking about this as, and it's a work in progress, to be fair, is that it's the easiest entry point into the Jupiter community and into the DAO. We have an amazing what I call a flywheel for content creators. If you're an up and coming content creator and you want to align yourself with Jupiter's efforts, join the chat, start talking about Jupiter products, and we have a whole bunch of people from Uplink, from the DAO, myself, Jupiter Marketing broadly, who are like, we watch everything. We're watching what you're putting out on Twitter. I literally just last night we hired someone who's been tweeting about Jupiter products to come help with the Jup mobile Twitter and marketing efforts. So we take notice of awesome content creators, and we want to bring you into the fold.
That could be all of you. So please do get in there. AlleyCat loves founder energy. Every time I talk to AlleyCat, there's at least 3 mentions of founder energy, which is good because the man is filled with it himself, which is what we love to see. Hold on. Very important comment. Cash looking thin AF. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. All compliments to me will be shown on screen. Let me just be super clear about that. Any compliments to Vibhu will not be shown because I'm.
Are you clicking these? Who's putting these on the screen? I've always wondered.
I don't know. Whoever it is, whoever's producing the show is doing a great job. That's all I can say. Anyway, let's keep moving on. All right, that's this week in the Jupiverse. We have a bunch of fun stuff to talk about. First up, Vibhu is going to talk about Metis V1 and some of the Jupiter routing upgrades. What can you say about Metis, the OG Solana workhorse?
Okay. So I'm going to filibuster this call to give Kash a little time to finish his DAO stuff. But we wanted to tell you guys about Metis, and the reason we want to tell you about this now is because there's a huge update coming tomorrow to Jupiter routing and Jupiter aggregation as a whole. Why is this important? Because Jupiter is an exchange. Like Metis is the backbone of Jupiter, and it's the backbone of Solana DeFi. When I say that Metis V1, which is the name of the algorithm, this is the algorithm that when you let's say you do Sol USDC, right? It's the algorithm that decides which dexes to pull liquidity from and to execute your actual transaction. Metis V1 is the original version of that algorithm that is powering much of Jupiter's trades today, but it's exclusively offered through API and binary to many, many partners around the Solana ecosystem. So when you swap on Phantom, when you swap on OKX, and many, many other places, usually you are accessing Metis V1, technically speaking, right? You think of it as Jupiter, but it's actually a very specific API that Jupiter offers to partners. And the reason that that's important, I don't know how to advance these slides, but we can advance here. Who controls these slides? This is me being a newbie to this. Okay, thank you. Cool. The reason that we are trying to put this name out in public is because what is happening on Jupiter itself is quite different from Metis V1. Metis V1 is the API for the partners for ecosystem. The Jupiter trading experience itself has a number of upgrades that are not available to partners. There's a bunch of reasons why. Like part of the reason why is Metis itself is built to handle immense scale, right? Nothing else is possible with Jupiter routing if it's not for Metis, right? It's robust, it's scalable. It handles, I don't know how many requests per second across the entire ecosystem. And not only that, but it's been provided entirely free to the entire ecosystem for many, many years. There's a stat that Xiang, the co-founder of Jupiter, put out
Since the beginning of
yesterday,
this year. That's real quick.
Sorry, since the beginning of this year. And some mentioned yesterday that this API has created at least $500 million in revenue for other non-Jupiter products and companies, and that's far exceeds what Jupiter's ever made on its own platform. And again, very important to say, not only are we providing this API largely for free to the ecosystem, but we provide the service and maintenance to on Metis V1. When anything breaks in DeFi anywhere, Jupiter is the first entity, and Jupiter's engineering team is the first team to diagnose, understand those problems, issue fixes. They do that all for free. And they've done this because Jupiter cares about growing Solana DeFi. And they know that when Jupiter wins, everybody wins, right? And when everybody wins, Jupiter wins. So super, super important to understand that. Can we advance the slide here? Right. So this is a little bit of a preview for people who are watching the call on what is coming tomorrow. Interestingly enough, the Jupiter front end, when you trade on Jupiter itself, you're accessing a number of different routing algorithms. And the term that has come to be in the community is this term meta aggregation. You might have heard this around. Jupiter is already a meta aggregator because not only is it's not accessing a single router, it's actually accessing JupiterZ, which is our brand name for RFQ, and you're going to hear a lot about that in a second. And newly, we are also routing through Hashflow and potentially others that we're going to announce soon for certain types of trading pairs. And we have been testing in production Metis V1.5, which is a new algorithm that's an improvement on Metis, the original. That's dude, these comments are so distracting. Thank you so much, Dash.
Welcome to my life.
So V1.5, I don't think we've talked about this too much, but it's a new algorithm that kind of introduces new possibilities when you're routing trades. that do more hops and more splits. It's more aggressive. Now, the reason we haven't put this into the original Metis API yet is because the latency is a bit too high for at that kind of scale. However, like there is a plan to upgrade the Metis V1 API as well at some point to include some of these upgrades as soon as we can, as soon as it's actually technically possible to do that. So in summary, like trading on Jupiter, you're getting access to RFQ, JupiterZ. You're getting access to Metis V1. You're getting access to Metis V1.5. You're getting access to hash flow and more to come. And that is why when you see a price on a third-party site that is that says this is the Jupiter price, actually that is not the Jupiter price. What you are seeing is the Jupiter Metis V1 price, which is one of those algorithms. So what we're asking partners to do, and is that you not mislead those partners. Sorry, that you not mislead your users, because calling that price that comes from Metis V1 the Jupiter price is quite possibly inaccurate in a lot of cases because of those additional routes and features that you're accessing on Jupiter itself. Just to define what Jupiter, when we talk about like what prices on Jupiter, what I mean is the prices on JUP.ag and all of the JUP.ag products, as well as the Jupiter mobile products. So Jupiter mobile and JUP.ag both share the same infrastructure for trades. And yeah, so this is, I don't know if this is the last slide we have on here, but Kash, do you need more time? Do you need me to filibuster? Where are you at? Cool. Why don't we do this? Why don't we jump into JupiterZ, because this is a very important part of the story, right? Metis, like today, if you do manual mode, for example, or you do Ultra, your trade is being routed either through Metis V1, Metis V1.5, Hashflow, or JupiterZ. So we want to introduce you to JupiterZ because a huge percent, I think like 15-20% of all of our trades now, specifically from the Jupiter front end, actually route through RFQ, and it's been growing as a part of our volume as well. So we wanted you guys to learn a little bit more about how that product works and how it gets you the best price.
That is right. So we'll bring them up. Before we do, one quick question from Opax here. Shout out to Opax, the best. Will Jupiter maintain both Metis V1 and the newer update? Will it be costly to do so?
So Metis V1 is, I mean, we have no plans to ever deprecate service for Metis V1 because it is, I mean, quite literally, it is the backbone of trillions of dollars of trading on Solana. And it's the most scale. I mean, it's not possible for another partner really today to like replicate what's been done there. In terms of upgrading it to 1.5, that's something that we want to do. However, at the moment, they run simultaneously on Jupiter because not every trade can go through that. You still have some kind of different problems, including like, the big one that we think about is like when you see a price on Jupiter, the quoted price, as we call it, like how close was that quoted price to what you actually got when you signed the transaction and it got executed, right? That difference there, we want to bring those as close together as possible. Metis V1.5 does this at it's 4.6 times more accurate than Metis V1. However, it can be slow. It's not always, it doesn't work for every single trade, which is why we don't offer it today in the core API. However, like the team is working on figuring out how we can make it more robust and more scalable and upgrade the Metis V1 API as well. So cool.
That's right. And Molu, to your question, talk about safety. So the good news is they're both, equally safe. There's no kind of safety issue. Like really the key comparison or the key dimension to think about here is like the scalability. So Metis V1 was really optimized to make sure that trades would go through. Because if trades don't go through because slippage is exceeded or there's too little liquidity in the pool or something like that, it leads to a bad experience. And we wanted to build something that was really reliable and firm so that everyone else could innovate on top of it, right? Like that's kind of like the basic point. In order to innovate at other parts of the layer. Yeah.
There are things about trading that do require safety considerations. Like one of the things that Jupiter has been working on the engineering side that we're going to talk about more tomorrow is that some DEXs behave maliciously. So they actually intentionally serve quoted prices that are higher than what they know they can offer. And then so when you go to execute that, there's a big delta there, right? And they're actually taking advantage of the routing system. And you actually will experience this problem on non-Jupiter aggregation, because it takes there's a tremendous amount of effort to try to solve that problem. And tomorrow we're going to announce, like, we have what I would consider a breakthrough engineering like piece of tech that like addresses this specifically.
That's right. Why Metis? Where does the name come from? Well, given that Vibhu is a big Roman nerd,
you got this. You got this. I thought you were the Greek historian, no?
Yes, but you're the Greek nerd, so please go ahead.
Okay, I could get this wrong, but you can go read. Go read on the wiki. But Metis is
in another call when we were talking about this.
So Jupiter itself, Jupiter is a planet. Yes, that's the brand, but Jupiter is also the like the Roman. I believe it's like, is it the Greek?
It's the Roman Zeus. If you've heard of Zeus in Greek, which is also what the planet is named after, incidentally.
The god of all gods in like old Greek and Roman history, and all of I believe like most of the Greek gods, or all of them, have like Roman names. Metis is, I believe, the Greek name of the last wife of the first wife of Jupiter, and we're gonna announce tomorrow a new version of all this stuff, and we've got another Roman.
Yes, we're going to be announcing a Roman history podcast. So if you're into Roman mythology, tune in for Vibhu. He will host all of that, as you just did so well. In the interest of time, we'll take some more questions.
Let's move on.
But yeah, let's start to talk a little bit about JupiterZ. Do me a favor, just drop a Z in the chat, because we got two people here who have never been on a planetary call before. I don't even know if they've seen a planetary call before, and if they haven't, then my condolences and whatever else. Drop a little Z in the chat to welcome on two of our new friends, Eon and John Nubia. How you boys doing?
Very well, thank you.
Hi.
Good to have you guys here. Eon and John are the chads behind JupiterZ, also known as RFQ, and I'll let them explain exactly why JupiterZ exists. So boys, take it away.
So JupiterZ is the RFQ part of the Jupiter platform, and what that means is that we have a panel of market makers who, simultaneously with looking at the on-chain liquidity, we query to see whether they can offer a better deal to our users. The advantages of it are that it gives the user a fixed price. There's no slippage. It can be gasless, so we make it possible for users to get SOL if they only have USDC, for example. As I say, there's no slippage, there's no MAV, and we support both exact in and exact out. So we offer quite a few features that simply aren't possible with the on-chain model. We launched in December 2024 in production and preview, and then we really went for it in January 2025. Vibhu, you gave better numbers than the ones I was going to come out with, so I'm going to stick with yours.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think the John's might be more accurate. I heard those as well. I was like,
just give them the real update. I thought it was 15 to 20, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'll take that. We did 3 billion in volume last month, which was actually a quiet month. I checked today, we're doing between 100 and 180 quotes per second. Yeah, that's the high level overview.
That's insane.
Very cool. And I know, John, you were very keen to include something around the pronunciation here.
I have abandoned the English Z. I now live in Germany. Everybody here learns American English. I've abandoned the British Z, and I'm a Z person.
It's good to have you on the good guys team. Eon, do you call it JupiterZ or JupiterZ?
It's usually I call it JupiterZ.
That's a good man. That's a good man. So what exactly is JupiterZ?
Okay, so what happens is that when the user enters their information on the website, in parallel with the query to the chain, we also ask a panel of market makers, who are organizations whose purpose is to provide liquidity to the marketplace, and we ask them whether they can give a better price. If you're in ultra mode, this will happen entirely without you knowing it. If you go into manual mode, you can select JupiterZ, and you can actually just see for yourself whether JupiterZ is providing a better price than the AMMs. So we will then present the price to the details to the user. If they choose to go ahead with it, we will then send a transaction to the winning market maker, who will sign it, return it to us. We send it to the user signs it, we return it to the market maker, they land it on the chain, and everyone is happy.
It's very important to say that we only route through RFQ when the price is better than what Metis V1 or Metis V1.5 is providing, right? It is not taking any precedence against anything else, any other routing algorithm on Jupiter. Is that correct? Yeah.
If you go into manual mode, you can choose the worst price if that's your goal, but yes.
Gotcha. And this is not, can you maybe talk about what pairs this is available for? Because I believe that we're not market making on every single token, right?
No, we get a list of tokens that each market maker supports. We update it every 10 minutes. I checked just before this. We currently have 98. So we don't have Pepe, we do have Fartcoin.
And so maybe describe a little bit how this works kind of behind the scenes, and then I can show people the pricing impact that it ends up having as well.
Sure. So, I mean, essentially, we're just a big proxy in between us and the market makers. We will send them all of them that support the token the request for a quote. We will compare them. We'll return the best one. As I described before, there's all the stuff with the transaction, and then there's some housekeeping to do with the fact that, regrettably, not everybody in the blockchain world is a good actor. And so we are constantly under siege by bots who are attempting to swindle the market makers, essentially. So there's also a little bit of fiddling that we do to ensure that we try to stop bad actors and to identify them while not hurting the user experience for the genuine Jupiter users. We permit the market makers to refuse a few transactions. If, for example, it's a massive transaction and the market moves heavily against them, then we will be understanding that we'll make the user requote. But we keep them down to a low level because user experience is obviously the #1 priority.
And every market maker within JupiterZ is a third party, right? Like Jupiter itself isn't providing
We're not in the
market making. Correct. Yeah. Cool. And one of the cool things about, I don't know if people know this, but if you happen to stumble upon a JupiterZ trading pair, eligible trading pair, in Jupiter Mobile, you can it probably works on the front end too. I've only noticed on Jupiter Mobile. You can swap gaslessly, so you can do USDC into Sol without having Sol in your balance, which is a very, very cool, like, small detail of this.
Absolutely. Let's maybe take a look at a pair or two. Are there any pairs that you think JupiterZ would be likely to win on right now?
I don't have that information, certainly. I did a little bit of querying this afternoon, trying to sort of see whether I could pick one, and I was unable to. The difference was small. I mean, manual mode, if you really want to do a JupiterZ swap.
So yeah, you can see it in here in manual mode. Just click, go to JupiterZ under the routing mode. Eon, do you know any that are pure Z right now?
No, not really. Yeah, that one could work.
Fartcoin has a route for it. Be interesting to see, is it always the best? Interestingly, I think that JupiterZ and the market makers, right, it's all a little bit dependent on how much on-chain liquidity there is, how active those pools are, how active market makers are, how much inventory they are, or inventory they have. So there's a few different factors, which is why you don't see it happen every time as like the winning route. But when it does happen, because it's the market maker directly giving you the quote, there's no slippage. What you see is what you get, which I think is pretty great.
I think one thing that's important to mention as well is that we're beefing up our panel of market makers constantly in an effort to make sure that our users always get the absolute best price.
How many roughly today do we work with?
12. There are 12 online right now. There are some more who are making their way to production, and we will keep signing them up until there are no more.
In gasless, feeless swaps, isn't the fee just accounted for in the quote? It might be, but the point is that, like, usually when you're swapping, if someone sends you USDC and you don't have Sol in your balance, you can't swap it. So with this specifically, you can swap right into Sol or some other coin without anything else in your wallet, which is pretty cool.
Minton says, it's fascinating to understand how some of this works. Folks, that is indeed part of the reason we have the planetary calls is to pull back the curtain and let you know, make you a little bit smarter on the DeFi stuff. The important thing is, like, hopefully it's someday all the liquidity will be on chain, but we're not there right now.
Had a question about fees, and I think one thing that's important to realize is that in JupiterZ, the fees are paid by the market maker, not by the user. So as Vibhu said, this means that if you just have USDC and no Sol, you're able to get Sol. I also checked in preparation for this call, like what the transaction prices were, because the JupiterZ transaction is a lot smaller. It's about a third the price, but I don't think that's really relevant to anyone but the market makers.
But yeah, the quote that the market makers give when they're going to decide to execute the order or not, they're including the fee, like they're already taking out their cut in that price that they're ending up giving you, which is just a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier. Yeah, JupiterZ, I think a big deal, especially as it gets bigger and better, right? This is only a few months old, and already it's executing, I mean, if it's doing 10% of all volume, we do like $1 billion a day or something like that on Jupiter, and maybe less like through Jup.ag specifically, but, we're talking like hundreds of millions, tens to hundreds of millions a month going through JupiterZ right now, these market makers, which is pretty incredible. Tell us, Ian and John, what is next on the roadmap for JupiterZ?
Well, we really want to look into bots, into detecting bots and making sure they don't interfere with user swaps. That's our highest priority, actually. So there are some plans for mixing routes with other automatic market makers, and of course integrating a lot of market makers, so users can always get the best quotes.
That sounds great. Mixing routes with AMMs. How would this work with JupiterZ?
Well, if we knew that. But broadly, if we can split the trade up and send part of it to the AMMs and part of it to the quote-unquote off-chain market makers, then we again have the potential to achieve a better aggregate price across all of those routes.
So right now it's like if JupiterZ can service the full order, that's when it goes through Z. But in the future, JupiterZ, it could be like JupiterZ plus Orca plus Meteora or something else like that.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be
I had one number that I wanted to come out with before our time was up, which is I just checked again, and we're doing between 100 and 180 quotes a second at the moment.
Not bad. Not bad at all. More MMs and then more tokens as well. The limiting factor on more tokens is the market makers making markets for those tokens, presumably, right? Or is that something that's not something we have control over as directly?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's give it a second for any other questions here. When declaring war on bots, is it against our bots or MEV?
It's our bots. Yeah.
John is straight into the point. There we go. Yeah.
I'm essentially obsessed with bots this week. It's my...
Excellent. Any other questions from the folks in the chat here on how JupiterZ works or RFQ or anything else like that? I'm trying to read these quotes. Blockballer just says Terminator. Not sure what that refers to, but I do. Oh, killing the bots. JupiterZ V2, the Terminator edition. Not bad. See, this is why we do the calls in public. That's very good. John the Bot Slayer. All right, cool. Folks, really just to underline this point once more, JupiterZ is something that you're not going to get anywhere else besides Jup.ag right now. Or if somebody is using the Ultra Mode API, JupiterZ is factored in there. But
Jupiter Mobile.
And Jupiter Mobile, of course. Any of the first-party Jup properties, let me say. But it is very useful, particularly at size for the tokens that it's supported, because you don't have slippage. Gasless is great, but most importantly, you just get exactly what you think you're going to get. So if you're trading with size, definitely use Jup.ag. That is going to be the way to go. John, Eon, any last words from you guys?
Not really. Thank you very much for having us.
Just thanks for your time.
Excellent. All right. Thank you guys
guys
very much. We'll catch up with you soon. Peace. Yes, this comment is correct. Vibhu without missing a second to Jupiter Mobile. Always be shilling. Always be shilling. So you can try it out today. All right, that was great. Well, that's JupiterZ. Hopefully now you feel a little bit more informed, a little bit more understanding between Metis 1.5 and JupiterZ of why when you see people quoting Jupiter in their meta aggregator interface, it's not actually true. And we're working.
The reason we're talking about this right now is because we have huge updates tomorrow on core trading infrastructure, and then next week we have a banger update on something else in this category. So we've been like really, really aggressively improving our core trading products right now. This is a really good time for us to start telling you a little bit about how all this stuff kind of works.
Get hyped. When beef with blank, no beef. It's nothing but love across the Solana ecosystem. As we talked about with Metis, the whole point is to make the entire ecosystem better. So nothing but love for everybody that's trying to solve these same problems. And ultimately, all we want to do is integrate everybody into Jupiter as well, and let the best price win. Let the best price and let the best execution win, not just the quoted price. With that said, we're going to let the best person at Jupiter win right now. And we're going to bring up somebody, but I'm going to need to see some JMs in the chat. Jupiter Italia already knows who it is. Jupiter Exchange knows who it is, but that's understandable. Do we have any JMs in the chat? I cannot bring her on stage until we see a JM or two. All right, Irish is on our side. Opax, Shy, Alley Cat. All right, Vadex, that's what we like to see. Welcome, everybody. It is, in fact, May, the Empress of the Jupiverse. What's going on, May?
Hello. All of that shilling cash, like I cannot. It's too much.
That's one of the fun things about a lot of the Jupiter folks and Singaporeans in general. Just cannot take a compliment to save their lives, which is hilarious because I give them out very freely. May, you've been hard at work, fresh off of Jupiverse, still doing good cats, digging deep into the community. But if that wasn't enough, the good news is May doesn't sleep. So you've also been working on token verification. Can you tell the people a little bit about what you've been cooking with the team?
Yeah. So if you guys have been following our story, we are now 3 years into this token verification game. And we just verified our first batch of tokens on our V3 system. So yeah, if you followed our story, when the original Solana repo was deprecated, we were left scrambling. There was nothing in the ecosystem. So we quickly came up with a V1 version on GitHub where people were sending pull requests. And then that quickly became overwhelmed. We moved to a V2 cadet system that was powered by a community. And then that also became overwhelmed as the ecosystem grew and the number of tokens grew. And so now we, with all of the stuff that we have learned from V1 and V2 and the new infrastructure that the team has built, we now have a V3 version that's powered by metrics that proxy things like trading momentum with the organic score, as well as community support via CT Smart Likes. So projects no longer have to submit their mint addresses on a website. They no longer have to try to like tweet at us and
no longer have to try to bribe me or DM me repeatedly. Like, please stop DMing me and everybody else.
Yeah, literally everyone on the Jupiter team gets DM'd about token verification. So yeah, now you don't have to do that. Get your community to support you via the CT likes on the token page, and this will naturally bubble up on the dashboard. When we see the tokens trending, we will verify them automatically. So yeah.
I'll just pull this up as you're talking about it here. So go to verify.jup.ag and you can click on recently verified tokens up in the corner, and you can see these are the recently verified tokens. Some of their likes and smart likes. Top unverified tokens right now. Meme coin. The name of the coin is meme coin. Interesting.
This new system is very exciting for me because it bubbled. Like if you look at the recently verified tokens, it bubbled up some coins that have been in the ecosystem for some time, like 6 months for one token. And yeah, we didn't notice them before, but if you see them trending on the dashboard, this have strong community support because smart likes are from Twitter accounts that have a good social graph and reputation in the ecosystem. So yeah, very excited about this new way of looking at tokens to verify.
Absolutely. And shout out to Gur. I feel like Gur is always in the chat over here. Not financial advice, obviously. But interesting to see them on this list. Mountain PSD is the PayFi token. That's Huma's one of their tokens. And some others over here as well. Cool. And you said we're doing just a limited selection per day on this community site, right?
So it keeps the signal high and keeps the list useful.
Excellent. Let me pull up
the reason we
slide.
verified, by the way, just to bring it up again, it's not an endorsement from Jupiter, right? It's we are trying to help people find the one that they're looking for without, because there's so many spam tokens, right?
Absolutely, because on DeFi you can just create a token and name it whatever you want. So there are often multiple clones and imposters trying to pretend to be the hot new token that you want to trade. So verification is just our way to help users identify the right token quickly with the correct mint address. It is not an endorsement of the project.
That's right. Looking for the canonical token. Isaac says, love seeing constant updates on X by May. Yeah, May's Twitter fingers have been active lately. It's been nice to see, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's fun, and you can hear from the community too. Like initially, we weren't sure whether to verify a token. They had a duplicate symbol, and then the community chimed in, someone clarified, and okay, we went for it.
Very cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that is a verification. Again, just to underline this point here, I think that I've been on record saying this before. I think that Jupiter's token verification is the single biggest and best public good in the entire Solana ecosystem. We do this entirely for free. There's no way to buy your way onto it or anything else. We invest a lot of resources, time. Look at May. She's sleepy. She's been looking at tokens all day and night. It's a labor of love that just makes trading safer and better for everybody on Solana. And so I think it's really important to continue to push this. People to use the Smart Likes feature and keep an eye on new tokens over there. All right, but May, that's not all. This was initially going to be all, but then you came on with a hot piping surprise, a little sneak peek. What
Yeah.
can you tell people about JUP Enjoyers?
Yeah, so we have a new Twitter account, and we are leaning into the enjoy your meme. I think this was also suggested by Vibhu, and we had some fun coming up with the Twitter handle. And
Suggested by me. I not about that.
You would have called it something Roman.
So I
and
can
Greek.
blame
would have
you
called
if
it,
something goes wrong.
Philia or something like that. JUP token philia.
Yeah,
To
initially
be
it was
clear,
gonna
she
be
called it enjoyers, and I just added the jupe, which is pretty brilliant, to be honest.
The best branding minds of our generations coming up
he
with
hyped it up,
Twitter
he
handles.
approved it, and then he like added some like cat ears to it, and I was like, okay, we are going for it.
Yes, but so what is JUP Enjoyers?
Yeah, so one day Meow was saying, hey, I'm tired of looking at charts, man. These charts go up, charts go down in this market. Let's look at some art. let's make some art. And I'm like, okay, the man wants art, we will give him art. So we will have a space where our community and projects can come and vibe, have fun, activate culture, activate community. And this is going to be our fun space to make art together and have fun. So we will kickstart with a fun new initiative this week and fun experiment for artists and culture enjoyers. And yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it yet until it's released, but follow this Twitter account and watch this space. We will have news for you very soon.
Got it. I like the way that you say enjoyers. Enjoyos. I don't know.
Enjoyers.
That's nice. At JUP_enjoyers. I guess people don't know exactly what's coming. This is a little suspenseful build-up, but there will be something fun. And can I say that there's going to be money involved? That people have a chance to earn some money? Can I say that at least?
Yeah.
Okay, so go follow that page if you are interested in charts, community, culture, and maybe an opportunity to make a little side change as well. All right, May, anything else that you want to say to the Planetary Call faithful?
Molu Holmes. Yep. Yeah, Molu is onto something. Molu is onto something. We're gonna set off the art revolution.
That's right. Excellent. May, thank you very much for coming on. As always, at 9-year-old intern on Twitter. Go follow her. JUP Enjoyers. And we will see everybody very soon. Thanks, May.
We enjoy. Bye.
You got to make a sticker and add it to the sticker pack there, May. Enjoy. Too funny. All right. Should we go to the next section, Vibhu, here?
Do it.
Cat year one, the DAO resolution. All right.
Couldn't be more excited.
Couldn't be more excited. It's a labor of love here, folks. All right. You guys ready for some real talk? We're about to get in some DAO real talk now. This is going to be a, well, we'll see how the section goes, I guess. Basically, what I want to start off by saying is people maybe saw Meow's tweet yesterday. I've been involved in the DAO. Obviously, I came into the Jupiter ecosystem through the DAO by starting the Uplink working group and working with awesome people like Molu and OG and Pedro and Clouds and the rest of them. But I think now I'm going to be taking a much stronger stance in the DAO and trying to kind of help shepherd it, because the fact is the DAO is now about a year old. And in that year's time, I think a lot has been accomplished. It's been super cool to see all the other DAOs that are using active staking rewards or work groups or all the other kind of like ideas and innovations that we've kind of pushed forward. But as successful and productive as this past year has been, it has not been perfect. It has not been without its issues. Maybe you noticed that there's some things that we could start to improve, right? And I don't want to pretend to be here and be like, oh no, it came out of the brain, fully formed, ready to go. No, not at all. The JUP DAO is fundamentally an ongoing experiment, right? Like the purpose is to experiment with new structures and new purposes and new ways of organizing capital and labor on chain for the better good, using this alignment through the JUP token. And obviously, if you're doing kind of innovation to the frontier, things get a little bit messy. And so again, just in the spirit of like being honest, I see all the comments. I know that there's like JUP research posts that I haven't yet had a chance to respond to. Please give me a little patience on those. My calendar is very busy, but we're trying to learn from them. But here are what I see as some of the biggest kind of lessons from Cat Year Zero from the past year. Surfaced through my conversations through the weekly town halls with COCs, with the work groups, thinking out loud sessions, JUP research forums, Twitter, and everywhere else. I am deep in the trenches on the community side of things. First one, clarity is king. And I don't think we've always had clarity. And in particular, we've been lacking some clarity on what exactly it is that the DAO is meant to do. And when you don't have clarity on something, I think it becomes many things to many different people. And those different people have different ideas of what the DAO is supposed to do. So then how are they supposed to collaborate? How are they supposed to vote? How are they supposed to understand what they need to do if they don't have clarity on what the purpose and everything else is, right? So this clarity point, I think we need to do a better job on. And that's exactly actually part of what I want to do with this DAO resolution as well, right? In particular, I also want to clarify what is for the team to do and what is for the DAO to do, because I think there's a lot of clarity that can be needed there. The basic premise that I have here is that the DAO should be doing all the things that benefit from decentralization and from the community mandate that the DAO can provide, right? What the DAO is able to provide is legitimacy in a sense, right? From a broad base of JUP stakers, that something is going to be in the best interest of everybody. The team, on the other hand, can work a little bit more intently on really some specific pieces, right? So here I'm talking about like the product roadmap should belong to the team. Team has more context, they have more time in it, they've been building it for years, they have a very clear sense. If we try to design products by committee, like in a deep kind of underlying sense, I think that leads to some problems. The protocol fees belong to the team. And I know that as I say that, there's some angry people on the JUP research forum who are like, no money should go to the team, it should all be just given to the DAO and so forth. That's not gonna happen, right? 50% of protocol revenues are already sent to the Litterbox Trust, which is for ecosystem and community development in the future. We're not going to touch it for a few years, but some protocol fees and what we do with those is the domain of the team as the ones who are creating it, right? We do not dump any of the tokens. I see dump only, says JL. The Jupiter team has not sold a single JUP token, not to finance anything, not to finance salaries, not to finance anything. I mean, I should say the Jupiter team as like the treasury has not sold any. So that's a different one. And you can check the chain on that. That's right. Thank you, Jupiter Exchange. Check the chain if you don't believe me. So that is that side. The second thing that I've learned is that attention is scarce. And I think that choosing vote topics intentionally with great care is of the utmost importance. That is the actual fact. I think community attention is a scarce resource, and too many votes or votes about things that are not significant does not create lasting value for the Jupiter ecosystem, right? And this is something that I would not have guessed earlier on. I would have thought that people would have been wanted to be as involved as possible, but proof is in the pudding, and again, proof is in the feedback. We talked about the DAO and the team already in terms of clarity stuff. It's not the DAO does not equal the team, and vice versa. Each should do what is best suited for them to be able to do. And here's another big one. And let me know if you agree with this one in the chat. Direct democracy, not always the best option. It does not seem to me that every vote requires every single person to vote on it. If you believe in that, give me a little amen in the chat, or let me know if I'm all alone on this. But I do think that right now, a lot is being asked of a lot of people. We have 500,000 odd stakers in the Jupiter DAO, or 450,000 odd stakers in the Jupiter DAO. It's not enough. It's not fair to ask every one of them to always be paying attention on every single thing that goes forward. And right now, the only way that we have to get people's opinions and get that mandate is through this direct democracy. And so I think we need a slightly different system. Yeah, small cat agrees, Stevie Rich agrees, Stash agrees, Alley Cat. Okay, yeah, cool. This is good. Dennis, many other people kind of agree, right? So we need to figure out new systems that allow a smaller subset of people who want to vote, who are actively interested in voting and doing the research and contributing their opinion and being a part of the conversation to be a part of it. And then finally, and this has been a difficult one for everyone to stomach. Listen, I'm going to sound cheesy for a second, but fuck it. The truth is, the Jupiter team really does care. It's one of the reasons why I joined the team is that they treat their users like as really special people more than just like users and numbers. They look at them as people. And I'd like to do the same thing myself. And so you'll see a single person on Twitter with 4 fucking followers make some kind of comment and it'll get a response, or it'll be sent internally in a group chat or something like this. And I think we brought some of that same ethic to the DAO in ways that have turned out to be a little bit tricky, right? So a fundamental kind of lesson and learning for me over the past year or so is that the DAO cannot please everybody. There are hundreds of thousands of stakers, hundreds of thousands of opinions, and of course there's going to be differences of opinion that are reasonable and justified. But the DAO needs to concentrate on its mission, and I'll talk about that mission in just a second, rather than trying to be responsive to every single voter. This is actually a piece of feedback that I've gotten from some people in the community, some whales, some work group members, some COCs, and so on. Sometimes we're a little bit too focused on making sure that every last little voice is heard. And that can be actually, that can create more FUD, or it can create more confusion. And so it's not to say that we ever want to turn our back. Obviously, the community is essential in everything that we do. But this is just like a good lesson on the way that things need to move forward. All I want is for the DAO to be fair, transparent, and stand on business, says Juju Girl. That's what we're trying to do, Juju. Saying it well. We're standing on business. Drewski voice. Vibhu's back. What do you think, Vibhu? You come back to jump into the fray? You want to talk about more learnings?
I mean, I haven't been around this long, but I do feel like the delta between what the public knows about the DAO's operations and what is actually happening are like pretty different. Like, actually, I think the DAO does a lot of amazing things, and I've been privileged to work with folks like Slorg and OG and Morton and Jport and many other folks who like make a real difference to Jupiter like every single day. They wake up and they work, you know, as hard as any Jupiter team member does on the future of Jupiter. I think we just want to take the best of that and like just do more of that kind of stuff, right? That's kind of like why we're starting to, because we do see a good model, right? It's not that there isn't good there. It's like, can we take that good and then make and just like do that and that only, you know?
And let me tell you something loudly and clearly right now. There are other projects out there that have DAOs where things get a little bit rocky. And what do? They stop doing proposals. They stop doing votes. They kind of kill the DAO off. It just becomes a thing that they talk about in the abstract for their token to have some kind of weird value and whatever else. That's not what we're doing. We're doubling down. We're going the other way. We're saying like, hey, we know that there are some problems. And rather than shrinking away and just focusing on product and whatever else, we really believe the DAO can actually do massive amounts of good. And so we want to make it better. And so that is where we're coming in on this side. So let's talk about a few kind of key topics. I'm going to be putting this into a post that I'll post to Jup Research tomorrow. It'll be up for review and comments, and we'll iterate on it together as we always do. And then it'll go up for a vote on Saturday or Sunday. And the purpose of the vote is just to get the buy-in and to get that mandate that we've talked about kind of in place. So there's a few things that are going to be in there. The first one is progressive independence. Again, this I'm being real here, folks. Not everyone's going to like what I'm about to say. Let me just warn you on that right now. The DAO is a baby. The DAO is young. And there's one version of decentralization, which is, fuck it. It's other people's problems now, right? Hey, community treasury, DAO treasury, that's all just for the DAO to figure out. That's one way to do it. That's not the way that we're going to do it. The team is going to remain actively involved, not necessarily in the voting of the DAO, not necessarily like in swinging votes or anything like that. The team is not like overly staking whales or something like that. That's not the case. I've seen some FUD to that. It's not true. But we want to be involved in the way that the DAO functions and as it iterates to get better. So we call this idea progressive independence. Progressive independence is not about kind of just saying like, hey, DAO, now it's your fault. You got to figure this shit out. It's rather about nurturing responsibility over time. So right now, I am thinking about it in a 2-year time frame. At the end of the 2 years, we hope to be at a place where the DAO is actually independent. And I'll talk about what that's going to be required early. Stash says, people who've been a part of other DAOs, especially in prior cycles, have a deep appreciation for how Jupiter is doing this. Appreciate you, Stash, and appreciate everybody that appreciates us. So that ends up, this idea of progressive independence is critical to the way that we're going to work. So for the next 2 years, you are going to see the team remain involved. Right. So you're going to see me talking about stuff. You're going to see me working on things along with all the great work group members and community members and DAO members that we already have, along with other team members as well, I should say. But this is something that's going to happen over time. This gives us 2 years to really run the experiment fully and properly. And then we can make a call on what needs to happen. After that, what I want to talk about is the purpose of the Jupiter DAO. And I want to say this as clearly and cleanly as possible because we need a shared definition of what the DAO is here to do if we are to be able to be successful. So the Jupiter DAO is, in my mind, the legislative arm of the community. The community is large. It includes a lot of people that maybe don't stake Jup or maybe don't participate in governance, right? So the DAO does not equal the community. But the DAO does create this legitimacy and this social mandate for initiatives. And that is something that only the DAO can do, right? In particular, every time a vote comes up, you've probably seen this yourself, it concentrates community attention. When the vote is either on a topic that people don't agree with or feels too trivial, that backfires on us, right? This is not without a cost. This is not like a free money glitch where we can just have free attention all the time. But it is really powerful when used correctly to concentrate attention and rally support for a particular cause. And I think that is really essential. Progressive independence, as foie gras. Yeah, that's actually good. Please. So what is the DAO's aim then? If that is what the DAO is, the DAO's aim is to accelerate the growth of Jupiter's community, product adoption and ideas. So community, products, and ideas. That is what the DAO can uniquely do that the team is not going to be able to do as well as the DAO, and certainly no other third party can do as well, right? So in order to reach these goals, it should create and approve proposals. And the idea basically here is if there is a proposal that does not in some way accelerate the growth of the community, of the product adoption, or the ideas of Jupiter, then probably shouldn't be a vote, right? Like that's where I really want to get to. Ultimately, these proposals allow us to have more people using Jupiter products, like the upcoming mobile design vote is a great way to get community mandate on what the visual identity should be and hopefully concentrate some attention towards Jupiter Mobile. Increase participation in the Jupiter community. Here I think about things like the CAWG or some of the work groups that have been out there that are there to like help make sure people get more involved, or global adoption of Jupiter ideas, which is what the DAO resolution this weekend is going to be all about. And then finally,
Like this is a very, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like this might not be like the approved way of talking about this, but when something goes to the DAO, it is because there's so many more people that are watching the voting process than anything else that Jupiter does realistically. And by the way, we kind of pay, like the DAO kind of pays people for that, right? That's like when you show up to vote, you're getting ASR. We're paying you for your momentary attention. This is a part where like I just totally disagree with the community in some ways. It is okay for us to have things like a Jupiter mobile design vote because we have this flash pan moment to bring everyone together, hundreds of thousands of people who don't normally pay attention every single day, to show them what we're working on and get their explicit buy into that process. And they'll complain and say, "This isn't." Oh, did I lose you?
No, you're good. Oh, as soon as you said that, you did lose us. Okay. Well, Vibhu making a good and important point, right? Like this is a powerful weapon that we have uniquely. Hello, Vibhu, you back?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know, my camera's frozen. Yeah, like it has to serve that growth purpose, and it does, even if you don't like it. It brings so much attention to Jupiter products and what Jupiter's working on, and that inherently benefits the community in very, very deep ways. And that is there's no point in having the DAO if it's not benefiting Jupiter and benefiting the community, right?
That's right. Absolutely right. Finally, activating talent with the Jupiter DAO. I think this is another like kind of critical part of what the DAO is able to do, is to find talented individuals, right? So if the DAO is here to help create value for the Jupiter ecosystem, it needs talent to do so, right? It cannot just do it like automatically. It needs some people, right? And the beauty of the DAO structure is it allows this meritocracy to happen, where anyone with proof of work can kind of rise up and do great things. I think of people like, I think of Rolex, who I just saw in the chat. I think of many others, Duke the Great, Julian, for example. Hell, I came up through the DAO, right? Like there's a lot of people that have kind of come up through the DAO and created a lot of impact. And we need to just agree that talent requires funding, right? You don't get good talent unless you pay for it, right? You pay for what you get, what you pay for, right? So maybe Silver Red says, Jupiter, maybe the transparency isn't the correct word, maybe better communication. Most people do not know that the DAO treasury is funded by the team. They think the DAO and the community AK is there. That is a great point. And that's exactly why, Silver Red, I want to publish this as a DAO resolution, to be as clear as possible to everybody. What was the source of the funding for the DAO, and where does it actually go from here? Let it be said that there are a bunch of other things that need to be figured out as well. Like what I've talked about here with the purpose, the progressive independence, some of the funding stuff and the activating talent is not the end all be all. There's a lot of major things that still need to be figured out. So number one, the budgeting process. we cannot keep putting every single budget thing to a vote. We just can't. It's causes too much FUD, and a lot of people just don't want to spend a single dollar to do anything, which is fine and reasonable, but we need a better system for how we're going to budget those. We need a better system for work groups and how they actually form and how they're able to build up their proof of work. We need a better system for proposals from the community to reach a vote based on sentiment. This is something I've seen a lot on the Jup research forums. There's a lot of great ideas on there right now that don't have a great way to get to a vote. And we need a process around that so that the DAO can be more independent. Right now, as I said, this is progressive independence. The team's still going to be actively involved for the near future to figure out which proposals make sense and which ones don't. Things around what is actually in the best interest, what is legal and regulatorily okay, what kind of respects the principles of the DAO and the separation of what the DAO does and the team does. So there still needs to be a bit of time for us on that part before we can push this live. But just know we hear you. We're actively working on a method for this to happen. If you continue to do it, we will still be able to see it and we can kind of factor it in, but we'll have a formalized process in a little while. Really want to think about sustainable funding mechanisms for the DAO. As just mentioned, the team has seeded the DAO with all of its funds. It'd be great for there to be funding streams into the DAO so it becomes more independent and self-sustaining over time. And then finally, we got to figure out ASR, right, and funding. Right now, ASR fully covered through the end of Q3, but what happens in Q4? What happens beyond? It's another thing that we got to figure out together over here. So a lot of work still needs to be done. We're not all the way there yet, but I am bullish, and I do believe, sincerely, that if we are able to get this right, it's going to be just a landmark kind of thing for the entire crypto industry and hopefully for the world at large. Right? This is more than just a crypto experiment. This is actually like a social or societal type experiment. The stakes are high. There's no doubt. There's hundreds of millions of Jup that are staked and so on. But if we are successful, I think that the DAO has a chance to create tangible, unstoppable momentum for the entire Jupiter ecosystem. That is where we're going with this. Can I get an amen in the chat if you are with me on this?
Amen.
Thank you very much, buddy. The essay will be posted tomorrow. I think I saw OG say it there. We're going to put that up tomorrow on the Jup Research Forum, and we're going to be able to get some feedback over there. Yes, there they are. Amens in the chat. I appreciate that. So yeah, Frenchie's like ASR getting low and low. Got to figure out this. Yeah, agreed. We got to figure out ASR. There's no question about that. That and many other things are on the thing. Yeah, as Minted says, I hate crying about expenses for talent that we need. Indeed, these are all true and good points. We're going to get there. J-Men. Actually, should we start using J-Men? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. So folks, here's what I asked for. I asked for your patience, your comments, your ideas on the post that goes live tomorrow. Vibhu is going to throw up with J-Men. Anything else, Vibhu, that you wanted to say on the DAO itself here?
No, I'm excited about what you wrote. I'm excited for people to see it.
Cool. Let me address this actually. So Cheddar Rat says we need to stop making jokes about people who bring up price. I'm not sure like specifically what you're referring to, but I do think that there's an important distinction to be made, right? The price of the Jupiter token, I don't know if you noticed, is down over the last few months. The price of everything is down over the last few months, obviously. So this is not like something we're ignoring. But the reason that we don't explicitly talk about price as the primary motivation is because a good price is not something that you can actively pursue without trying to take some shortcuts. Could we pay, some KOLs a few $1 million to talk about the token? Yeah, we could. Could we, do a bunch of weird, shady OTC deals that allow the token price to kind of pump? Yes, but it's very brittle and it goes away very quickly. The only way to create long-lasting value and long-term value, which is what we really care about, is figuring out the things that contribute into price. What are those things? Product and awareness, culture and vibes, what the token actually does, how good the memes are behind it, how effective the DAO can be, and if governance is a meaningful thing, and all these other types of areas. So not trying to make jokes about people who make jokes about the price, but I think it is important to realize that talking about the price is not going to make the price go up. It is by doing the work that we get good things to happen for everybody. Hopefully that makes sense.
Which, please stop tagging me in the Price Talks Unmonitored channel on Discord. Please. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, organic growth is the way, says Blockballer. He's right. Legal has entered the chat. Here for vibes. Yeah. VDMD says, I honestly don't understand what is the correct way forward. All the players in the market are corrupt except Jupiter and a handful. I don't want to say that everyone is corrupt. I think that might be overly cynical, but yes, it is definitely the case that what we are trying to do is not what anyone else is trying to do. Like we are taking this in a fundamentally different way because we're building for a 5-year, a 10-year, a 50-year time frame. which is not the case for a lot of these folks, right?
This is why I'm here. This is why I was excited. I've been excited about Jupiter for a long time because I feel like it's the first crypto, like non-blockchain based crypto entity that is on a world-changing mission, that has the team, that has a generational leader, that has the like core business that's like just cranking, revenue and like growth on a consistent basis. And then when you add in the DAO and the kind of more like philosophical part of what they're doing, like it's going to be hard, but I feel like we have the best shot at building that generational crypto company everyone's been waiting for.
That is a fact. That is a fact. Well said. Jupiter will change the world, says Rolex, and he's not wrong about that. So yes, tag Vibhu and price trading unmonitored. If you have any other questions about the Streisand effect, bro, you can't say that. If you say it out loud, as Scarlett says, you shouldn't have said that, Vibhu. It's going to make it worse. That is true. Okay, cool. Isn't it? Oh, sorry. Cheddar has one other thing. Isn't it the working group / team's job to produce things that grow and expand the Jupiverse? Absolutely. And that's exactly why we're trying to figure out how we can set up better structures and enable more talent to do exactly that. So that is correct. All right. That is about it for the DAO stuff. Let's do a quick little drip too hard showcase here. Stash, we already even talked about Stash. Stash is, can you tell the folks anything about Stash? I don't know if you know any of Stash's backstory or anything like that. I do not. Do you?
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of. So yes, I mean, I know them because they are hilarious and they consistently have memed me for like over a year now. Now they're memeing you, Meow, Jupiter.
Appreciate that, by the way.
They're just absolutely relentless, and I will say that they are. They make great art, but they also make really awesome educational videos. And they've been building this thing called Stash Academy, which is like like how do you get educate someone about Solana in a funny and interesting way. And yeah, big fan.
Stash is dope. Shout out to Stash. Also, shout out to Avinro with this little piece right here. So I see some geckos, some Solana love. Puerto Rico? What is this flag? I don't actually know flags very well.
I think he's
Cuban, perhaps. Cuban. Yeah. Shout out to Avino and to all the Cuban faithful. Nanikyo. Oh, God, I'm so bad. Nanyeko, thank you very much. Shout out to Nanyeko as well. I love the little animated space cats. I like those more. Anything else? Those are. Fairy says drip highlights my new favorite segment of the Planetary calls. That's what we like to see. And then we can also give a special shout out here to Huckster's.
Huckster's, building photographer. Yes, amazing photographer.
Very cool photographer. So, and one last one too, Block Frames. I'll hit it very briefly. Yeah, I feel like I'm inside Black Mirror right now.
It's not AI.
This is all handmade.
All handmade. Everything is handmade. It's incredible stuff.
Oof, amazing. Folks, we do this segment so you can find some great artists and some great communities and some great creators over on Drip. So go follow Stash, Avinro, Nanyeko, Hucksterized, and Block Frames over on Drip for more good stuff over there. All right. Well, with that said, we got one last segment. We are already over time. Not terribly surprising. I am bad at handicapping this, but don't go anywhere because it's the best part of the entire goddamn call. We are here with Catdets Corner. And if you know who's coming up, drop her name into the chat. Let her know. It's her first time on the call. We got to get her excited. She was, she was excited to be on, but let's see. Does anybody know who it is? Oh, it is the meme queen, Maneek, indeed. Maneek, what's going on?
Hi, thank you for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. For those who don't know, can you introduce yourself a little bit? Who are you, Maneek? What do you do?
Okay, so my name is Maneek. I am part of the JupiterZ team, actually the newest member, and I do interning for JupiterZ and video content and a little bit more, but that's the basics.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't already follow Maneek and JupiterZ, you should. There's some great videos that you've been making about some of the DAO votes, about some of the product updates. And I don't know if it is just like a requirement that everyone on JupiterZ has dulcet tones, but you all have like really nice voices. Let me just put that out there.
Oh, thank you.
How did you get into the Jupiter community?
Oh, okay. So I actually got in quite early. It was early 2022. It was out of curiosity, actually. I was using another swap at the time. I wasn't very happy with it. And then I came across Jupiter and never looked back. And then I joined the Discord and the Jupiverse community, and it's just been awesome.
Do you remember your initial impressions of the Discord? Was it overwhelming? Was it
Oh my
fun?
gosh.
What was it like?
It was
Especially back then, it was
okay.
pretty.
So,
It was messy.
so Discord can be very overwhelming, and I wasn't very active in the Discord to begin with, and it was only 2024 did I start getting a bit active in the Discord because it was too scary before then. But you know, it was the best thing.
now it's better. I see that you're in VC a lot of the time as well.
Oh yeah, that's the Jup and Juice way. We're always in the VC.
Is that part of the job description? Is that like must spend 8 hours a day in VC?
You know what? We enjoy it. We pride ourselves in being in the VC and being there for the community. They can hop in whenever they want, and it's always a vibe. It's really fun.
That's why it's always my recommendation. Anyone that's like, hey, how do I get more involved in Jupiter stuff? Just go to Discord, hang out on VC. People will be there. Without fail, Jup and Juice is definitely going to be there. Oh my what's
Yes, for
VC
sure.
trench wars.
Or people just jump in there because I see you guys in there. Sometimes I just want to like Kool-Aid mad myself into the conversation. Is that something that you guys want? Or
Oh my! Please join us whenever.
all right, done.
Anyone can join whenever they want to, and we love it.
Very good. So what is cooking right now at Jup and Juice? Tell the people about Jup and Juice a little bit.
Oh, so we just had a podcast yesterday. It went really well. We actually had a Jupiverse member come on named Corey, so everyone should check that out. We're cooking a lot. We've got a lot to come. We're working on a lot of things. So everyone should follow Jup and Juice and stay in tune with what we're doing. We won't disappoint.
Maneek, very, very selective with the alpha there. All right, getting some building up some of the suspense
Yeah.
here. Maneek, you've been in the community for a while. I know that you're a loyal voter as well. You've been making things around the vote. I'd love to hear your current thoughts on like what the DAO is and where it needs to go to get better.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
It's just us and 6,000 of our closest friends.
It's a big conversation. I mean, it's a lot to think about. There's a lot there. Where it should go, you put me on the spot. I think we'll get the feedback. We'll get the feedback and we'll see. We'll all decide together. Everyone
figure it
will
out.
help push it the right way. I'm confident. Yeah.
Makes sense. I got one more question for you. I hear you're a big Mo Salah fan and Liverpool. What do you think their odds are for this year?
Was that Molu?
It was Molu indeed.
Molu has been... Yeah, Molu, I've been trying to convert him into an Aston Villa fan. That is my team, but Molu won't listen, and he just listens to Sachs, and he that's the wrong choice. A Liverpool fan? No. Aston Villa all the way.
Aston Villa, nice. You don't meet enough Aston Villa fans, actually. Vibhu, any questions for Maneek here?
Here you
go. What is so you asked the question that she couldn't answer about the DAO stuff, but maybe the easier question is like, what is your favorite thing about Jupiter DAO and what's your least favorite thing about Jupiter DAO? Maybe not in that order, the other order.
Oh, Jupiter DAO. You know what? The one thing I like about the Jupiverse community, there's something I want to say, is that it is the kind of place that reminds you why you even got into the Web3 space in the first place. It's an amazing community. The DAO, everyone in it, the working groups, it's not easy. Being part of a working group is constant hard work all the time, and I don't think people really understand that, but Jup is home. It's amazing.
Let's just end it there. We don't need the least favorite part. That was
Yeah, let's just stay on the positive vibes only.
Least favorite part, I don't know.
Least favorite part is Molu, I think.
Actually,
Um,
Vibhu, I was working on.
Oh,
So
actually-
I do digital art, and I have some digital art that I was doing. I was gonna enter the competition that Drip was holding, but I got a bit sick. What I was working on, I can show you a sneak peek. I'm changing it into like a Jupiverse thing. So I'm working on this at the moment. It's a little bit wonky. It's a bit flat colored right now, but I should be putting that out there soon.
Was that Procreate? What are you working on with software?
That is Procreate. Yeah.
Nice.
Procreate. I love Procreate.
So you're not on Drip because I just checked.
Maneek, what are you doing?
I'm on Drip.
Oh, you are?
I do have an account. It's at Maneek.
As a creator.
You have a channel.
It should be. As a creator, no, not yet. Not yet, but I will.
No time like the present, Maneek. I think go start a channel. We'll feature you on the next one. Get some folks over your way. I think it's great to support some homegrown artists as well. Well,
thank you.
Maneek, the last question that I need to ask is what advice do you have to anybody who might be watching this right now on how to get more involved in the Jupiter community? What is the kind of pathway if they want to become like Maneek? What do they need to do?
Oh, to become like, honestly, just get involved. Just send that first message in the Discord, join the voice chats, put out your ideas, whatever it may be. There's so much support in there. We're all like a massive family, really. It's great.
You heard it from the queen of the memes herself, Maneek. Thank you so much for coming on, and thanks for being part of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Excellent. Bye, Maneek. If only we could all become Queen Maneek, says Isaac, and he's not wrong about that. Excellent. Well, I think that about brings it to a close here, folks. Vibhu, any last words for the folks at home?
Cool. Look out tomorrow. Big update. We have something Friday. We got something Monday. We got something Tuesday. We've got so much stuff. It is ridiculous how much stuff.
I mean, it's honestly, we got to figure out how people can stay alive and how we can stay alive through it all. But tomorrow, announcement related to Metis and the routing. Don't forget about that one, along with the Jup Enjoyers contests are going to be starting tomorrow. So make sure you go check that out as well. Other than that, we went through JupiterZ today and many other things. I don't even have time to go through them all. Keep an eye out for my DAO Resolution post tomorrow as well about the next 2 years. And we will take it from there. Did you have something else, buddy?
No, I'm just leaning in, just trying to match your camera positioning.
Well, folks, as you know, you don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Thanks for coming out. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.